Hi, everybody. Welcome to our social media, Facebook Live. If y'all can hear me, please let us know, send us a like, and we'll wait just a second to make sure that we have this on airing on all of our channels. Okay, if you are joining us today, can you send us a message or a comment? Let us know if you're here with us, if you can hear us okay. So we can get a thumbs up and then we can get started. Hi, everybody. Can you hear us okay? We're joining live on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. We've got multiple cameras set up, so we hope that you can all hear us. This is Victoria. If you're here with us at DFW Abogada, send us a message, a like, thumbs up, comment, or something. And so we're so excited to be here today. I'm Victoria Neave. I'm an attorney here in Dallas, Texas, and so excited to be joined by the Consul's office. We have an expert with the Consul's office who is going to be talking to us today about how to get your dual citizenship. So if you're with us, share it with folks that you know, send us a thumbs up or like so that we know that you can hear us okay. So this is our first time, so we appreciate everybody bearing with us. But today, as we talk about our dual citizenship, we're excited to have with us Fernanda Leyva Rivas, who is the tercera secretaria de documentación. She's part of the Servicio Exterior Mexicano, and I'm going to give you a little bit about her background so that you know her expertise. And as she's sharing with us the process and the steps of what we need to do to become a dual citizen with Mexico. And so Fernanda Leyva Rivas cuenta con experiencia en el ámbito diplomático gracias a su paso por la Embajada de México en Corea del Sur y la Embajada de México en Japón, which I think is amazing that you traveled and represented Mexico in all of these countries. Está licenciada en Relaciones Internacionales por el Colegio de México. Actualmente está asignada al Consulado de México en Dallas como cónsul de documentación y registro civil. So we're so excited to have you. We also want to thank Nancy Flores con el Departamento de Protección, our team, Albita, Gina, and others who helped us make sure that we get this set up for you all today. So muchísimas gracias. Thank you for joining us and for sharing this information with us. For me, this is a question, how to get your dual citizenship that we've been hearing a lot. Yo soy hija de un padre que nació right next to Guadalajara in Mexico. My mom and my mom was born here, but my grandparents were born in Mexico. So we've got lots of family all over Mexico. And I'm proud to be an American citizen, but I'm also so proud of my Mexican roots. And so I know a lot of Mexican Americans que viven aquí in North Texas, in Dallas, that have been wondering and talking about what do we need to do? What's the process to become a dual citizen with Mexico? What are the benefits? Things like that. So muchísimas gracias. Welcome. And thank you for joining us today.
No, thank you for having me, Victoria. This is very exciting for me. I think it's like my second interview, my first for Facebook Live. So for me, it's very interesting, and I'm honored to be here with you. And yes, as you said, we've had a crazy peak of people wanting to know more about dual citizenship, or how we call it, doble nacionalidad, in the consulate, and everyone is asking around because it's very important to have it, and it's very important that everyone can feel that they can have a way to become a Mexican citizen because of their parents. They are already part of Mexico, and they are already part of the culture. And as you said, you have your family, you have your roots, and this is a way of making that a little bit more bureaucratic and a little bit like, you can get your birth certificate and then you can get your passport or your matricula or your INE and everything that comes with it, with being a Mexican national. So I'm very excited to be here and to answer all of your questions. And thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. And one of the things that folks want to know, like, do your parents have to be born in Mexico? Do you need one parent, both parents? Or what about your grandparents? Like, how does that work?
Okay, so you do need to have at least one of your parents being Mexican. That does not mean that they have to have been born in Mexico. They can, for example, your mom, you said that your mom was born here, but her parents were born in Mexico. So maybe if your mom became a Mexican citizen throughout the consulate or throughout other options that we will talk later today, you can become a Mexican citizen by her or through her. So you need a parent that is Mexican, but it doesn't necessarily have to be born in Mexico at this point. They have to have the nationality, but they don't have to be born in Mexico. For example, we have a lot of cases of people that maybe they are born here and they're like second generation or third generation, but all of their forefathers and everyone else in the family, they've done this process throughout. So they're born here, their parents were born here, their grandparents were born in Mexico. So what we have to do that is like a little like a fountain a little bit. Like first the grandparents have to be Mexican, then you have to make your parents Mexican, and then you can become Mexican. So it's a little bit of a tickling thing, but it's possible.
So, like, let's say that you have a parent that was born in Mexico,
Mhm.
but then became a naturalized United States citizen.
Okay.
Can you apply through that parent? And that's a question that I believe Regina mentioned on Facebook a day or so ago. Can you
Yes.
apply through that parent?
Yes, you can. As long as your parents still have the Mexican nationality, and that means as long as they have their birth certificate and they didn't give up Mexican nationality in front of a Mexican institution or authority, then they can become a Mexican national. Like for example, if your father is also is an example, an American citizen, but he has his birth certificate and he's a Mexican national, you can become a Mexican national or Mexican citizen without a problem. We just need some requirements. They're not that complicated, and I think we're gonna get to that in a minute. So yeah, you can totally become a Mexican national.
Okay, perfect. So if vamos a decir that we meet those qualifications, that one of the parents or, is a Mexican national, what do we need? Like, what documents do we need to be able to prove that? Like, what do you require as part of the app? Is it an application process or like, what do we need to show you?
Okay, so we do require certain documents. So for example, first and foremost, the Mexican birth certificate. Why? Because a Mexican birth certificate, it's the proof of your nationality. So after your Mexican birth certificate, let's call it this way. So the person that wants to become a Mexican citizen, what he's going to have is his American birth certificate. So we need that American birth certificate and we need his or her ID. So that's the first step. We need a birth certificate and the ID. Second step, we need the Mexican birth certificate of the parent that's going to give the nationality. If it's both parents, we need both of the parents' birth certificates and the IDs for the parents as well. Okay, so we need that, and we need those sets of documents to start the application. It can get a bit tricky, for example, if the parent, especially if the father is not anymore with us or he's passed or something, that's going to be a bit more complicated, quote unquote, because we're going to have a marriage license, for example. If the mom or the person itself, he's over age and he has more than 18 years old and he wants to become a Mexican citizen, but his father has passed away, we need the marriage license, and that marriage license has to be like 6 months before he was born. Like they had to have been married 6 months previously. That does not mean that if your father, for example, has passed away, that you cannot become a Mexican citizen. That does not mean it. It just means that throughout the consulate system, we cannot go through with the application, but you can still do that in Mexico with something called inserción de acta.
Okay, so hay un proceso adicional si uno de los padres falleció.
Exacto, sobre todo si el papá falleció y no contamos con esa acta de matrimonio, las personas, y no solo en este caso, en cualquier caso también existe la opción de la inserción de acta. Por ejemplo, toda la familia va todos los diciembres a México y entonces, no sé, a lo mejor necesitan un poquito más rápido la solicitud de doble nacionalidad, etcétera. Ellos pueden llevar su acta americana traducida y apostillada a cualquier registro civil en México y en el registro civil hacen este tipo de proceso que se llama inserción de acta y obtienen el acta de nacimiento mexicana y con eso obtienen la nacionalidad mexicana también. Pero para propósitos del consulado, perdón, es esto. Son el acta de nacimiento americana con la identificación y las actas de nacimiento de los papás con sus identificaciones.
Okay, so, and I'm sure if people have questions, they can contact you or the
Oh.
Mexican Consul, because I know there's a lot of different, or I guess
Yeah.
there's different pathways depending on whether you're filing under a parent who's passed away or not passed away. Vamos a decir that somebody maybe hasn't talked to their parent that was born in Mexico in a long time. Can that person still obtain the birth certificate of their parent and still apply through them, or does the parent need to approve? Like, how does that work?
The parent gives the Mexican nationality, especially again, if you're doing it here at the consulate system or here with us at the consulate, and you do not have, for example, that marriage license, you're going to be required that your parent is there to sign and to be the one that says, okay, it's my child and I want to make him or her Mexican. But again, if you're in a situation where you maybe don't speak to your parents or maybe you're stranded or something or other, because we know families can be a little bit complicated sometimes, or you just don't have the possibility, and we can talk about that in a second, you can go again, do la inserción de acta en territorio mexicano. So if you are the person that wants to become a Mexican national, you translate and you do the apostille, I think it's called. And then you take that birth certificate to Mexico, and in the civil registry in Mexico, you can do the inserción de acta, and that will give you the Mexican nationality as well.
Okay, so they can do it in Mexico or here.
Exactly.
And so for those of us, let's say for those that are here, it might be easier for us to get it done here. Are there age limits? Do you have to be an adult, or does it apply to minor children as well?
There is no age limit. The difference here, for example, is that if you want to give the nationality to your children, then the parents should and have to be present if they're minor. If it's someone that's above 18, it doesn't matter as long as we have those documents and the required documents. For example, I think today I saw someone that became a Mexican national, and he was, I think, born in the 70s or something, 70s, 60s. So anyone can become a Mexican national at whatever age they want.
Okay, great. And I do want to learn more about the process in a minute. And can you tell us some of the benefits to becoming a Mexican citizen, like having that dual nationality when it comes to travel?
Well, it's always going to be a sum up for to say it in certain way. Like siempre te va a dar más de lo que te puede restar, por ejemplo. No te va a restar nunca nada. Te puede ayudar mucho para la parte del viaje, como dices. Yo sé que hay ciertos taxes que se les ponen a las personas que viajan a México con el pasaporte americano. Bueno, ya con el pasaporte mexicano ya no tienen que pagar eso porque ya son mexicanos que simplemente están yendo a su país. Entonces no hay ningún problema. También creo que es algo muy importante mencionar, y aquí entra un poquito la parte de cómo el consulado es algo integral y no solo son diferentes departamentos. nos ayuda mucho que, por ejemplo, menores tengan la doble nacionalidad, sobre todo en casos un poco más complicados y un poco más complejos, en los cuales los papás a lo mejor no están en una situación con documentos aquí en Estados Unidos y esperemos que no sea el caso, pero si llega a pasar, tienen que ser regresados a México, los regresan a México. Si estos niños ya tienen tanto la nacionalidad mexicana como la nacionalidad estadounidense, nosotros como consulado ahí es donde entramos, como gobierno de México también entra y le podemos decir a las autoridades americanas, entendemos que este niño es americano, pero también es mexicano y está en el mayor de los intereses de las familias que estén juntas. Entonces, pásennos al niño, denos a ese niño para que esté con sus familiares. Entonces, por eso es muy importante que tanto chiquitos como grandes tengamos esta doble nacionalidad y para, de nuevo, diferentes temas. Puede ser para viajar, puede ser para realizar una vida en México, tener propiedades en México, hacer una vida como cualquier nacional mexicano, pero también para este tipo de casos que son un poco más complicados y que también vienen de la mano con esta parte de la migración mexicana aquí en Estados Unidos.
Ujú. No, eso es buena información que, you know, especialmente en estos tiempos, that's really, really good information que puede ayudar a la comunidad, especialmente cuando familias están separadas. Ustedes ayudan cuando un hijo o un niño tiene el double citizenship.
Exacto.
To unite them. Es más fácil para ustedes.
Exacto. En ese caso nosotros ya podemos entrar, porque si el niño solamente es americano, nosotros como consulado, como gobierno de México, no tenemos tanto espacio de maniobra para poder hacer esto de llevar a los niños con sus familias.
No, thank you for sharing that. I think that's really important. Y una de las preguntas también que April Torres on Facebook preguntó, do the birth certificates have to be originals or can they be copies?
We asked for the originals. When they give out the documents, for example, the first time, like in the process, we asked them to send them to our email through email to the consulate and we get that and we have to review that. Entonces, lo revisamos, vemos que todo esté bien, but when it comes to actually going to the appointment, we do need those originals. So for example, the original American birth certificate, the original Mexican birth certificate, the original passport of the person that's gonna be asking for the citizenship. We do need those originals.
Okay, and how can somebody get an original? Can they order it online and it be mailed, or do they have to go to Mexico? What's the
For the
easiest?
Of course, for the Mexican birth certificate, you can get it at the consulate. You can either get it at the consulate or you can even get it online. So it's you have that possibility to obtain those documents. So you don't have to necessarily ask for them all the way from Mexico to be sent. But sometimes, and that's why we do ask them to check online, for example, or go to the consulate. If you go to a consulate and, for example, we don't have you in our records, uh, the person there working, it's gonna tell you, okay, we don't have you in your records, but you can call. You have two options. You can either do it through the internet or you can call and ask them to upload your birth certificate to the system, and that way you don't have to ask anyone to send your birth certificate all the way from Mexico.
Okay, and if you're, okay, so we're in Dallas, you're in Dallas, and we're, with the Consulado General de Mexico in Dallas, personas de all over Texas can apply to yours, or do they need to go to their local consulate's office?
It's actually pretty crazy because we don't ask for people to just be from our jurisdiction per se. So sometimes we get people from all the way to California, Oregon, different places in the US that they find that we have appointments and that they can do their double citizenship with us. So it's obviously it's more comfortable for people who live around here, who are from maybe, I don't know, Wichita Falls, or they're from Tyler or other places that come to us, but it's not a requirement to be from the jurisdiction. We do have, and this is important to say, we've had a lot of demand these past few months. And it's crazy. If by, for example, in January we had, I don't know, 30 applications per week, that was high. That was our normal. That was okay. By February or March, we had 500 per week. So it's gone up. It's gone up quite a bit or quite a lot. So that's why also our times are a bit farther through the calendar. But everyone that wants to have their dual citizenship and they want to do it at the consulate, they can.
And so how does somebody make an appointment? So they get their documents, they fill out an application, is that right? And then they make an appointment, or what's the process?
The process is, and we have a very beautiful sheet in the consulate, but basically is you have to gather your documents, which are the ones that I've already told you, and you have to download the application. We have it at the web page of the consulate as well. So you just download it, you fill it out, and then we ask you to send it via email. The email is registrocivildal01@sre.gov.mx, and you send it. If for some reason you cannot send it because maybe you don't know a lot about computers, or maybe you're someone that's a bit older and it's not used to computers and you don't really know how to send the documents, you can also bring them to the consulate and we will receive them in the physical format. But it's a bit easier if you can, sending it through the email. But yeah, you can do it both ways, and we would need that, the application and the documents.
And so then after you get the application of the documents, then you give somebody an appointment, or do they? Okay.
The thing is, we receive the documents and we have to review them. O sea, los tenemos que revisar porque la verdad hay muchos errorcitos que uno pensaría a lo mejor no importan tanto, pero sí importan mucho. Por ejemplo, aquí en Estados Unidos sabemos que sobre todo con actas de nacimiento un poquito más viejitas, pues no sabían cómo escribir ciertos nombres o ciertos apellidos en español. Entonces a lo mejor cometían errores, o no sé, uno se llama, no sé, Fernanda Carmona, y entonces en vez de poner que yo soy la mamá y me llamo Fernanda Carmona, me ponen que soy Fernanda Cormona, ¿no? Entonces de Carmona ya pasé a Cormona. Ese tipo de errores hay que corregirlos. Entonces, una vez que los revisamos, nuestro equipo se dedica a, ok, toda esta persona tiene bien, perfecto, pasa, le agendamos la cita. Esta persona tiene aquí un errorcito. Lo que podemos hacer es, necesitamos una enmienda en esa acta de nacimiento, por ejemplo, para que ya la mamá coincida con Fernanda Carmona y entonces sea Fernanda Carmona en el acta de nacimiento de la persona que está solicitando, pero también sea Fernanda Carmona en todos los documentos de la mamá. Entonces, por eso a lo mejor es un poquito más tardado, porque nos fijamos en esos datos y en esos errorcitos para que en el día de mañana que ya tengan el registro y vayan por el pasaporte, no haya ningún problema de, oiga, tiene aquí un error y ya no tengamos esa situación.
Okay, no, that's super helpful. And I know I don't want to take much of your time, and I appreciate everything that you've shared with us. Is there anything else, like any common mistakes or algo that you think is really important que personas that are Mexican American that are applying or that want to apply to become a dual citizenship, like what's one of the most important things they need to know?
I would tell them and I would ask them to review themselves everything before sending it. So that way they can see that, for example, that small word or that small thing, and maybe we're buying time from time, Like if you see that there's a mistake, I don't know, in the date of birth of your parents, tell your parents, and that way you can maybe see if you are able to get that fixed before sending it. If you don't see it, it's no matter, we're gonna see it, we're gonna ask you to make that amendment, and that's no problem. But I think that's the most common mistake, that we just see something and we're like, maybe it was okay because they did that and they know. But sometimes even authorities can get something a bit wrong, so it's better to double check everything on your documents. That thing also, I think, not to believe that if there's something missing, you cannot become a Mexican citizen, because as I said, there are options. So it's not like, oh, I will never be able to be a Mexican citizen. No, you have options. One of those options is here with us at the consulate, but you also have the option of going to Mexico. I know that's a little bit more complicated with the back and forth. You can take a holiday if you want, make it a holiday out of it. But you can do la inserción de acta, que es ya en México y es con tu acta traducida y apostillada, pero hay opciones. Siempre hay opciones para hacerse mexicano.
Perfect. Pues we're so appreciative de la oficina de ustedes, del cónsul, por collaborating with us to bring this information. As founder of our law firm, Neave Law, we're honored to be a partner with the Mexican consul's office as an approved law firm to work with clients que vienen a ustedes con diferentes temas legales that they need legal representation. So we're honored to work with y'all. Going to continue to advocate for our community. And so muchísimas gracias. With that, we will post links in the comments, and we encourage you to follow the social media del Consulado General de Dallas and our social media across Facebook, Instagram, YouTube at DFW Abogada. I'm Victoria Neave, and appreciate y'all. Muchísimas gracias, Consul Fernanda Leyva Rivas, for joining us today. Any final remarks before we
No,
wrap up?
I think it's just to say thank you. Thank you for, as you said, you're a great partner and you're always there to help us and to help the community. And the consulate is always appreciative of you guys and everything that you do to help us. And just to finish off saying that in these times, it's very important to have a lot of those options. And the consulate is always there for everyone. If you want to be a double citizen, if you want to get your passport, your matrícula, your INE, to have everything on hand and to have everything correct, that we don't have any surprises that we don't want to have, for example. And the consulate is there and it's open for everyone y tiene las puertas abiertas para todo el público y para lo que necesiten. Tenemos la página de internet también, el equipo de protección que es maravilloso y nos ayuda a realizar cosas impresionantes y nada. Muchas gracias por tu tiempo y gracias por haberme invitado.